Gorgeous Leos, how are you guys? This is Debs, and we're here, of course, for your reading for November 2025. Leo, I feel as if, guys, you may be in a bit of a tricky situation because you're dealing with someone who feels as if they're being successful in reconciling with you. Now, this could be a friendship, family dynamic, ex-partner. They feel, Leo, that this is fully back on. I think you're being very nice, you're being very compassionate, you're being chatty, you're being very kind, you are almost behaving as if everything's fine. But Leo, you're waiting for that conversation. And if that conversation comes up, i.e., okay, I'm so glad, Leo, we're back on track. I'm so glad, Leo, this is all sorted out. I've got to be honest, Leo, what I think you're going to say is, well, no hard feelings. I completely forgive you. I don't want to have any arguments, but this is done for me. I don't think, Leo, you're holding any malice in your heart. I don't think you're angry, maybe anymore. I don't think you're upset anymore. But whatever's gone on here, you simply don't feel at this point that this is actually mendable. But I think you've been avoiding the conversation because if somebody actually put you on the spot, you'd have to tell the truth. Which is, I'm sorry, this isn't actually going to come back together again. So Leo, you've made this decision within yourself that this is how you feel. You're simply avoiding that big question. Are we definitely back on track here? You're just avoiding it because you really don't want this anymore. All right, Leo, here we go, guys. Here we go. Now, the deck that I'm using is the Divination deck. It's a French deck. Everything you need, guys, is down below. And let's just begin. Yeah, Leo, I don't think this is you feeling guilty. I don't think this is you feeling nervous or fearful. But you know that there will be a day, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be next month, when there's going to be a really serious conversation. Your person's going to say to you, whoever they are, okay, Leo, just want to make sure that you're absolutely fine with everything now. And you may look at this person, Leo, and think to yourself, actually, I'm not really. I think this was out of order. Or I think what you did was actually unforgivable. And Leo, you're just not looking forward to having that conversation. So you're avoiding it. Let's see what comes through, guys. That's the energy coming through. So Archangel Michael, what do we have for my lovely Leos? What do we have for my lovely Leos? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Leo, you hadn't have wanted to have had that conversation because I think that you know your person was full of regret, was full of remorse, wish they could turn the clock back. But when this specific thing happened, whatever this was, it's as if you switched off your emotions, Leo. After that one thing happened, you couldn't help it, but you had no emotional connection to this personal situation anymore. And so, oh, Leo, gosh. Let's just see what comes through, guys. Let's just see what comes through. Judgment. All right. Leo, you've made the decision within yourself that this is really done, that this really is done. Crossing that is the Ace of Wands. Okay. Leo, this could be you finding out that your partner cheated on you, and you may have said to them in the moment, I forgive you. But what you didn't say, Leo, was, I'm happy to reconcile. You two may still be talking on and off. But what you haven't said, of course, we're fully back on. No, because Leo, you don't actually want this person back again. It could be a situation, Leo, where you found out that one of your parents had a fling on the other parent, and you're an older child, right? And this is you thinking, I just can't look at my mum or my dad in the same way again. I've lost respect for them, right? They've fallen off the pedestal I put them on. So irrespective of you acting normal, Leo, I don't think you feel it deep down. Guys, you just don't feel the same way anymore, and you can't help it. Let's have a look at the past. Ace of Cups. Okay. After that time, yeah, Six of Swords. So in the past, Leo, you did sit in self-love. You may have spoken your truth, and you allowed whoever this was to move you both to calmer waters. Everything just calmed down. In your thoughts now is the Justice card. Leo, if this is you finding out your partner cheated on you, what you haven't actually said to your partner yet is, I think this is still going to end in divorce because I don't actually want to renew the connection with you. Even though you've forgiven them, even though everything's calmed down, in your heart of hearts, Leo, you don't actually want to be with this person anymore. If this is a situation where you're a child and you found out that one of your parents had an affair and it was a shock because you felt this would never happen, what you're thinking about is, I want to keep myself nice and balanced, and the way that emotionally I will be able to do that is to detach from that parent. But that parent, Leo, may be behaving as if you're absolutely fine with this. It was just one of those things, right? But no, Leo, something snapped inside you when you found this out. In the immediate future, yeah. Le monde is the world. Is the world. I think in the deepest part of your heart, Leo, this really is done. But you're very relaxed and calm in your energy. You've just accepted that within yourself. You've accepted that you just don't feel the same way anymore. But this is a very serious conversation with this particular person coming up. You're going to have to speak your truth. In your fears, Leo. Yes, exactly. In your fears, Leo, this is you fearing being open and completely honest. If this person says to you, just to make sure, Leo, you're really okay with this, you've really forgiven me, we're back on track, what you're fearing saying, Leo, is, look, I will always care about you, but I'm sorry, I'm heading in another direction. I will always care about you, no hard feelings. These things happen, but I can't stay, or I can't be in contact with you anymore. You're actually fearing that question because at that point, Leo, what you're thinking about is, I'd actually have to speak my truth. Up until this point of time, Leo, that actual question hasn't come up. I think this person has just assumed that everything's back on track, but it's not as far as you're concerned. So whoever this person is, Leo, is a Queen of Wands. Now, Leo, you could be a masculine, having found out that your partner, maybe a Queen of Wands, cheated on you. Or you could be a female, Leo, knowing that your masculine cheated on you, whoever you are in the mix, there's going to be a conversation in the immediate future where you are having to speak your truth. And that truth is, I'm sorry, this is done. No hard feelings, but this is really done. If you found out that your parent had been unfaithful, Leo, as an older child, then this would be you, dare I say it, seeing your mother as the Queen of Wands. Oh my God, mum cheated on dad, right? And even though I love my mom, I will always love my mom, I will always think fondly of my mom, I don't respect her anymore because she cheated on dad, right? Something like that. Could be really awkward, Leo. In your hopes, guys, the Six of Cups. In your hopes, Leo, what you're hoping is that when you speak your truth, you're not simply going to be sat in nostalgia, believing you made the wrong decision. Because whoever this person is, long-time partner, family member, you two have known each other for a long time. You two have had a lot of history. And the outcome? Yeah. Okay. Queen of Swords. This is the moment. This is when it all comes out, Leo. Queen of Swords. This is you speaking your truth. Okay. Now, if you're a masculine, you could be telling someone that you're sorry, but you felt they were just simply sat in a very strategic energy and you don't feel emotionally connected to them anymore. But let's carry on and see how this pans out. Clarification for you, Leo. The Two of Pentacles. You've been weighing up the pros and cons of staying in this situation. You've been weighing up the pros and cons of actually emotionally agreeing to reconcile. Because I think the insinuation that you two are back on track or you've forgiven someone has been apparent. Someone has insinuated that because you're talking, because you are friendly with each other, everything's back to normal. But Leo, I think something inside you has just switched off and you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. Now, as a female Leo, you could be talking to someone who's simply thinking about you, wanting to bring you back in, you know. Or Leo, you could be a masculine who is aware of a Queen of Wands in the mix and you're angry. You can't help it. You're still angry. So let's have a look at the Queen of Wands energy, whoever this is. Six of Wands. Okay. Whoever this person is, Leo, deep down feels as if they have won. They have been successful in getting away with something whilst sort of pulling you back to them. They feel as if you've totally forgiven them. But they are deep down a little bit confused because it's almost as if they expected you to scream and shout at them and say, okay, I'm leaving, that's it. And you haven't done that. And so this is someone who doesn't really know whether deep down, you have actually forgiven them. You are actually wanting reconciliation. So I feel, Leo, this is someone who is going to almost be very straight with you and ask that question. I just want to make sure, Leo, we're really okay. Are we really okay now? Is everything all right now? And in which case, Leo, it may be very difficult for this person to hear, but I think, Leo, what you're going to say is, actually, everything's not okay. But I think, Leo, you've wanted to coast because you haven't been looking forward to having this specific conversation with this person. Underneath the deck is the King of Wands. Okay. So we have the King and Queen of Wands on the board. You could be either. We have the Page of Cups. Now, I think, Leo, someone here apologized, but what you believed was, it was sort of an apology that they didn't really mean. They didn't really mean what they said. They could have looked at you and said, I'm really sorry. But you may have looked at this person and thought, I don't actually believe you're sorry at all. Fish in the cup. We also have a child here. Seven of Swords. So, Leo, somebody was unfaithful and gave you what you felt was a fake apology, because what you're thinking about is they meant to do this. They meant to sit in ego. They wanted to win. They wanted to sit in indulgent energy. They wanted to sit in the Seven of Swords. This was pre-planned, right? And Leo, you're done with this. But the problem is, up until now, that conversation hasn't come about. It's coming about in the immediate future. So guys, let's get into this and see how you're going to react, Leo. Let's do that. So guys, you have already made a decision, judgment, about how you feel relating to someone who was unfaithful, whoever that was, or somebody who had a one-night stand. What's your current energy, Leo? What's your current energy? Yeah, the Nine of Wands. You've stood well back from the situation. You haven't had long, meaningful conversations with whoever this is. You've simply avoided a lot of communication. And that's been on purpose, Leo, because you didn't want that main question to be asked. Are you sure everything's okay, Leo? Have you truly forgiven me? You've just avoided this person. Yeah. Because, Leo, you've been healing. Whoever this was, whatever happened, hit you like a 10-ton truck. It hit you. When this came to light, Leo, this floored you. This floored you. Yeah. This is your energy, Leo. Beautiful. This is the Strength card. I think you took control of your anger, pushed it down. I think you took control of your anger. You took control of the upset. You pushed it down. And you didn't say very much. But inside, I think there was a lot of pain that you had to handle. Again, holding back, Leo, holding back from this person, you know? Yeah. Again, keeping your feelings under wraps with the energy of the moon. Not saying anything. Insinuating everything's okay, it's all right, we're still talking now and again, it's okay. But inside, Leo, there's nothing left emotionally for you. There's nothing left emotionally for you, Leo. It's kind of just gone. Yeah, because whatever this was, there was a lightning strike. And you feel whoever this person is sabotaged the situation, sabotaged a relationship, sabotaged a family dynamic. And after this happened, you realised that you just didn't feel the same way anymore. But to keep the peace, you let this person talk to you now and again. I think they have been slowly trying to rebuild this connection with you, playing very gently with you. But Leo, you haven't had, up until now, maybe the confidence to tell this person the truth. So, in the past, you may have come to understand that someone either sat in self-love, all about themselves, a bit selfish, or someone started a connection with someone else, right? The devil. This was unhealthy. This was toxic. You found out about this. And you felt left out in the cold. You felt deceived. You felt as if you didn't really know this person anymore. And there was a lot of heartbreak, Leo. There was a lot of heartbreak. After that time, you allowed this person to sort of pull you to calmer waters, pull you back towards them. But I think you were almost on automatic, Leo. You allowed them to do it, but your heart wasn't in it. That's how I feel. Yes, you allowed them to do it, but inside you still felt very upset, very angry and defensive. I don't know why at the time you couldn't speak your truth, but I just think you felt that if you did, it would cause more drama, more upset, more conflict, and you couldn't cope with that. So what did you do? Okay, yeah, Two of Swords. I think you pushed down your feelings and you simply wore a false mask for a period of time. I just can't tell this person how I really feel about this. I can't do it. But you were a bit defensive. So on some days you were pleasant and had a normal conversation, and on other days you simply just didn't want to talk to them. So you may have just avoided them. Yes, because you knew. Lovers. Could be a Gemini. You knew that someone here had been unfaithful or someone had had a one-night stand. High Priestess. You used your intuition, Leo, and you didn't say anything, but there was a lot of upset and hurt you felt deep down. For you, this situation was done. It was over with. The minute it happened, the minute you realised, the minute you found out, you cottoned on, it was done. And it was very upsetting for you. What you're thinking about now is justice. You could be thinking about your marriage, if this is you and your partner, or you could be thinking about wanting to keep yourself balanced. What are you considering here? What's on your mind, Leo? Yeah. A difficult message of truth. That open, honest conversation. This could be you, Leo, still feeling as if you want justice. This could be you, Leo, if this is your parents. You could be wanting to know if your parents are actually going to divorce. You may feel like calling out your mum or your dad, right? Yeah, because Leo, you're seeing things very, very differently now. Pisces energy, you're seeing things very differently now. You're seeing someone differently, and you can't unsee it. You can't turn the clock back. Yeah. Leo, you may feel taken for a fool. Could be by an Aries. Or Leo, what you're thinking about is I trusted my partner, or I trusted this family situation. I trusted nobody would ever try and hurt me because they were my family, right? Or nobody would lie or cheat. What you're thinking about now is, I was such a fool. But what you're also contemplating, Leo, is if that question is hanging in the air, which it will be, you need to speak your truth, which will be, I want to keep my life balanced and I see things differently now, and so I'm just going to go my own way. Because I need to feel at peace, because I don't trust the situation anymore, because deep down I still feel hurt, because I see you differently, whoever this is, I'm sorry, I'm detaching. And Leo, that's going to be a very difficult conversation for you to have, but that's how you really feel. What else are you thinking about? Temperance, yeah. Leo, you've been keeping this inside for the longest time. You've been trying to stay calm. You've been trying to be pleasant. You didn't want to rock the boat. You didn't want to have a standout row. But it's time for you to be honest about how you really feel. There could be a Sagittarian in the mix. As I said, we've also got Aries and Pisces here. Leo, Sag, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. We've got all the signs here, guys, okay? Up until now, you've been coasting, trying to just keep your emotions balanced. But we have this major question in the immediate future. And I think at this point, Leo, you are going to speak your truth. So in the immediate future, we have the world. This is you being open and honest. No hard feelings. I do forgive you, but I don't want to keep in touch, okay? This connection is over with. In the environment is either someone thinking of you, okay, feeling as if they're quite relieved that you've forgiven them because they've won. But this is someone still a bit confused in their head because they didn't expect you to be so nice about this. Or this could be a Queen of Wands who could be your mother, dare I say that, who quietly had an affair on your father, thought she got away with it, but she somehow feels that maybe as her older child, you may not be telling the truth about how you really feel about her. And she wants to know for sure, are you on my side? Are you in my corner, Leo? You know? Could be awkward. But anyway, so Archangel Michael, when do we have the World and the Queen of Wands for Leo? Thank you, Michael. Okay, I'm hearing September. There was a lot of cerebral activity relating to whoever was involved in September. A lot of quiet, heavy contemplation in September, okay? I'm hearing the 5th of December to the 22nd of December. Next month, okay. Let's have a look at the Queen of Wands. Let's have a look at the Queen of Wands. Wow, okay. The 9 of Swords. Whoever this person is really, really stressed. They've been wearing a false mask, acting as if, oh, I'm sure everything's okay, but actually they may feel deep, deep down that things are not okay, that you may be about to detach. They have this sick feeling, you know. What are they wanting here? They're wanting full reconciliation. They're wanting you to say to them, it's okay, it really is. I'm sure we can patch things up. Everything will go back to normal. That's what they want. But they do have a horrible feeling, Leo, that It's done. What else is on this person's mind? Yeah. The arguments, the conflict, the drama, the stress that they created, Leo, right? That they created. It's almost as if they're shocked that you haven't overreacted or there's been no big blow up from you. But Leo, that's because very quietly you have simply made the decision when it's the right time that you would just leave. What else is this person thinking about? Guys. Yeah, the Page of Pentacles. Now, Leo, if you are this person's child, older child, what they're thinking about is there was just a little olive branch, there was just a little apology. They're quite surprised, Leo, that you seem to be okay with this. The thing is, you're not. What they're thinking about is, I didn't make a big deal about this. I just said, yes, sorry about that, right? And they assumed that it would be okay, that everything would smooth over. What else is this person considering? Yes, a family situation or a long-term relationship. 10 of Cups, they're considering this. They're considering this. They're considering the stability of a relationship. They may even be thinking about a property. This person is in their head the whole time. I think they're terrified, Leo, that in actual fact, despite your body language, you're emotionally completely detached now. And they're terrified, Leo, because what they are thinking about is deep, deep, deep down, they are pretty certain that it's done for you, but they don't know for sure. They've been wearing a false mask, acting as if everything's fine, we've resolved this, it's all okay, but deep down they're terrified. Because I think they know that whatever they did here, whatever happened here, it was unforgivable. So Leo, you are still holding back. I don't think the question's being asked here, but I do think this person is sort of communicating with you, trying to bring you further and further towards them emotionally, trying to get you to really open up, because they really need to know that you really are okay after this happened. You're right, Leo, right? You've forgiven me. Really? You really have. Okay. So I don't think they're going to ask you the question flat out. Have we really reconciled here? Is this really okay? I think they're just sort of softly walking around you, you know, just trying to keep in touch with you, trying to keep connected with you. What you're thinking about is the world. For you, this is done. What else is on your mind? Yeah. Wow. Leo, what you're thinking about is this was a completely unequal give and take situation. For some of you, you may be thinking about divorce. Wow. 3 of Wands. You're already thinking about your future, Leo. You're already thinking about embracing change. Because what you're looking at is whoever this was sabotage the situation. Yeah. You may know, Leo, of a Scorpio in the mix. Somebody could have cheated on the other person with a Scorpio. This changed everything for you, Leo. It changed everything for you. This is all in your mind, though. You're still in your thoughts about this. But you know, Leo, when it comes down to it, what you're going to say. Ace of Swords. You're just keeping quiet, Leo, until you really have to speak your truth. You're just keeping quiet. You're in an avoidant energy. You're trying to play nice. You're trying to keep everything calm. Because that question, that actual question, hasn't come up yet. You know? Yes. You're keeping yourself to yourself. You're staying well away from the situation, from this person, or the people involved. Because what you're doing is you're pouring all the strength that you need into yourself. Because this is you, Leo, having the courage to actually go, to leave. Walk out of living with somebody, detach from a family situation. This is you sort of gathering up the courage and strength you need to go it alone. Because that is what you feel you want to do, Leo. Or that is what you feel you need to do. To sit in the energy of self-respect, right? What is the energy between you two? Yeah. Both of you are avoiding the conversation because it may well be that after that conversation there needs to be a serious talk about money, and neither of you are broaching this at this point. At this point. This is December, okay? This is December. So, Leo, the final card is the Queen of Swords. If you're a masculine, this is you having a really straight conversation with an Aquarius, Libra or Gemini female that you may know cheated or wasn't honest with you, or a family member who was deceptive. Or Leo, the Queen of Swords can be you as a feminine. So guys, what is going to be said here? I'm getting a really strange, calm energy, like as if you could cut the air with a knife, right? This heavy silence, because this is, I think, a one-to-one conversation. Yes. Yeah. The Knight of Pentacles. Leo, you're going to start off by saying that this conversation's been a long time coming, but you didn't feel ready to delve into this conversation before. What you're also going to say, Leo, is you have healed inside from what happened. You have healed. You've healed yourself because this was very painful for you. Whew, guys, okay. Yes. But what you're going to say, Leo, is this lightning strike to this tower did bring the tower down, and in the nicest possible way, you don't think that ultimately this can be rebuilt. This connection can be rebuilt. You've spent a long time thinking about this, thinking about putting work into this. For some of you, Leo, if it's relevant, you may also say to this person that you've been thinking about your finances. And then I think you're going to drop the bombshell, Leo. What you're going to come out with is, I did feel totally betrayed. I did feel totally betrayed. Okay. Is this person going to say anything? The Wheel of Destiny. I believe, Leo, the only thing they're going to say is, I thought that we were leaving this behind. I thought we were starting a brand new cycle here. right? I thought we were manifesting reconciliation, leaving this behind us. Leo, what are you going to say? Yeah. Leo, what you're going to admit is that this has weighed heavily on your mind for such a long time. You simply can't pretend anymore. You can't pretend that everything is fine. You can't pretend that you're happy to reconcile because, Leo, whatever happened here broke your heart. You saw this person differently after this period of time. And you can't help it, but you know that you would just be sitting in a lie if you said to this person, it's okay, sure, let's forget all about it, because deep down, Leo, you're still sat in the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Wands, if the truth were known, and I think this is you speaking your truth. And what else are you going to say, my Leos? My goodness, sorry guys, this is a bit of a sad reading. Well, is it sad? Is it sad? I think what you're going to say to this person is, look, I will always care about you. You will always be close to my heart, but I have been standing at crossroads for quite a long time now, thinking about everything that happened. And Leo, what you're going to say is, I simply think it's time that we parted ways. That's how you're going to put it. This isn't going to be a big argument. There isn't going to be any drama. I think you are very quietly going to say to this person, I simply feel that we should part ways. And that's going to be that. Because Leo, you've done a lot of thinking about this. You have to be true to your heart. You have to be honest with this person. And even though you would like to have said, it's really okay, I truly forgive you, don't worry, we can start again, you know, Leo, that you would be lying to yourself and lying to this person. And you can't do that. So, Leo, this is you having the courage to be honest. After this period of time, depending on what situation this is, if you are living with your parents and this is parental, one of your parents cheated on the other, then you may move out of living at home. If this is your partner, Leo, then I think you're going to be quietly packing a few bags and arranging to live separately. But this is the right decision for you because, Leo, this is you already looking at your future. It's as if you just really want to leave this behind you because this has been dragging you down. This has been putting you in a negative energy, and this is you feeling quite depressed about this. And I don't think, Leo, you want to sit feeling depressed about this any longer. So you are making a decision to sit in self-respect, self-worth, and have the courage to be honest with whoever this is. Okay, guys? So, my beautiful Leos, gosh, I'm going to leave it there. Do let me know if this is your story. Drop me a comment down below. Take care of you guys. And of course, I'll be back before you know it with your next set of readings. See you soon, Leo. Bye now.